All right, hi everyone. I gotta say, the main reason I'm here is to speak to you today. I did visit Beacon Hill. I visited the firemen that fought the fires for 17 days, they tell me, and I didn't know that we can still have underground fires that can pop up anytime. Things that I'm learning in life. I love what I do. Okay, as I'm walking through Beacon Hill, what do I see? You know, it reminded me of being in LA and helping one family in LA as the huge fire was coming towards us. I'm watching the news in the morning, and I'm thinking, is there anything that people are not seeing that I'm seeing? The only thing left standing after the house is burnt down is what? The chimney. Because it's made of brick, block, concrete. So in the distance at Beacon Hill, there is a blue roof, and I don't even think it was the church. There's a blue roof and a brick building, and it wasn't harmed. Now, I gotta tell you, I get the boom. I understand everything to do with construction and what my world is all about. But I gotta say, this is the time to start building smarter, because I keep saying it on my show over and over again, minimum code sucks. And in this case, right now, the reason the fires crossed so many houses was wind. The embers run through the air with the wind, land on an asphalt roof, which is an oil-based product, and burn it from the top down. So, how many people, like me, when I was a kid, watched The Three Little Pigs? Because we can build better, and I'm telling you, it's not a lot of money. It's actually changing the mindset on what we do. Doesn't mean you gotta build a cinder block wall. I'm gonna give you a great example. Duracell block is a man-made block. It's half the weight of a cinder block. It has an R value of 24 on its own. On its own. You can glue it together, backfill it with grout, some rebar, and you've got an incredible strong structure. Now an STC is called sound transmission class of 62 on the block in itself. Now, you can put a concrete roof on it or trusses with a metal roof. Now, when the embers come flying through the air and land on the metal roof, it won't burn. If it hits the wall, it won't burn. A lot of these houses had vinyl siding, a great product that loves to be burned. I mean, you look at this is time to stop. So how many people in this room right now have been affected by the fire? Put up your hand. Maybe I should do it the other way. How many people have not been affected by the fire? Put up your hand. So very few. Now, the biggest problem that comes from such a large devastation is what next? Where do you live? What are you gonna do? And when's my house gonna be done? And it's too bad that there wasn't 2,500 people here, because I would have loved to talk to everyone, and I understand that people have a life. But one thing I can say, this is gonna take time. The good news about this is insurance is going to cover almost everything for most people, so that's a good thing. The problem is they can't do is make you wait for a year and expect you to cover everything. They're not going to help you. They are going to expect you to cover yourself. So this is going to be a bit of an uphill battle for everyone, and I'm going to stay away from the speakers. And when I say an uphill battle, it means that this is not going to be easy. So I would love to see everybody work as a team, not get excited, not yell and scream, not stamp your feet and pick up the phone and call the government and say, what the hell are you doing? When are you going to help us? Because nothing can be done overnight. For those who didn't have their house burned, but it's in a contaminated area, you just can't move back into the house right away, can you? You can't until it's clear. They're going to have to bring in people. Now, one thing we learned from this is how not to let it happen again, how to create protocol on how to evacuate, how to make sure it's safe. But because so many houses were burned, I couldn't believe this. I was filming down in Atlanta when this started, and I couldn't believe I heard 2,600 houses were burned. Is that correct? Yeah. That is an awful lot of displacement, and the good news is that no one really died from that, but an accident did happen after that, and I'm really sorry to hear that, and that's just a bad thing. The good news is, working as a team, you can now set up and try and make it right this time. Try to have a better home built. A lot of people in Calgary, when the flood happened, The first thing they did was try and hire someone with a pulse, not someone that knew what they were doing, somebody that could come in and drywall their house, remove the mold so that they could move back in. And I went in there for a reason. I said, look guys, you cannot close up your houses with a moisture content of 60, 70% in your structure. The concrete will hold the most amount of moisture in any home, but so will the wood. And if you close it up, it's going to mold again, because mold, how does mold grow? Let's play a little game here. Put up your hand if you tell me you know how the mold grows.
Moisture.
That's one food group of mold, is moisture. Second food group is what?
Heat.
No, not heat. You? No, not darkness.
Fiber.
Fiber? Not the word I'm looking for. Sorry? Organic materials is the word I'm looking for. So, moisture and organic materials. So, as long as we have hot, medium, cold, we're going to have the first food group, which is moisture. And the second one, organic, is the lumber and the paper on the drywall, a live product like your body. So, if you put the two together, you're going to have mold. That's exactly what's happening still in Calgary. This is going to go on for years, the nightmares just from that flood. Imagine everyone here trying to just move quickly and say, get in and clean up the area and build me a house. It's not going to work. There's not enough contractors here, there's not enough manpower, and it's going to take time. So what are some of the things we can do? Let's talk. Anybody? You.
Patience.
Patience is number one. Because if you don't have patience, your blood's going to boil and you're not going to be happy and you're not going to get anywhere. Nothing is going to happen. You're only going to get upset. Patience is the biggest thing that you need. Working together as a team, I can't recommend this enough. If you can get together with all 2,600 families and say, let's work together, find the best builders, work with the government, get all the right permits, and start building a smarter home that makes sense. Now, who here thinks, if I were to build you a home, let's say Duracell block, okay? Because you don't have to drywall this, by the way. And I know another product that I can put on the outside, even though you don't need to, and it's a spray cork, and it's got a fire rating. It's environmentally friendly. At 1/8 of an inch, it's got a thermal break. Cooler theory, hot doesn't make cold. Keeps your ice cubes cold, like in a cooler. 1/8 of an inch. So who would think that me building a house like this with a metal roof is going to cost you more money than the piece of crap you guys already had? Not to say that you had a piece of crap, but that piece of crap burned, right? Who thinks it's more money? Oh, people are getting smart. It's actually not more money. We're just substituting products. Now, in order to have this happen, we'd have to have a quick plant put together to make the blocks here so they didn't have to get shipped in, to be smart about this. What can we do? This is what we do. I can't come and build 2,600 homes right away. That's impossible. What I can do is help everyone else as an advisory council on what we can do, how we can build smarter, and how we can build better. One thing I don't know everyone knows here is that the indoor air quality of your existing homes before the fire, did you know that 80% of the homes across the country have poor air quality inside the home? Worse than outside? Should we be paying more attention to building smarter homes and better homes? I think so, because once you think about it, have you not seen a rise in allergies, asthma, bronchitis in the many years? And that's our own fault, just so you know. I can talk about drywall. I can talk about air renew certainty drywall. Why would we use it? It's mold resistant, 1. 2, it absorbs VOCs for up to 75 years. I can go on and on about products and how we should be building. That's not going to solve things right now, but it's a beginning point for everyone that's here on what we should be doing. Do you think the government in the area would be very interested in building smarter? Yes, they will. They do. They want to. They want to. As a matter of fact, the houses that are in the flood zones, they're talking about now of not rebuilding there. Now, is that smart or not? That's very smart. Why build in a flood zone? As a matter of fact, let's go back to Calgary for a second. It was every single house that flooded was in a flood zone. It wasn't the house at the top of the hill, it was the house at the bottom of the hill. So we don't want to do that. This is an opportunity now to step forward, to change this, to build smarter. So right now, this is what I'm trying to say to you. 1, Slow down, have patience, take your time because it's going to take a while. Talk to each other. Nobody else is really going to understand what you're going through but each other, right? It's not like you can phone someone up in Edmonton and go, oh my God, I'm pissed off, I'm really tired, I'm sorry, there's kids here. I'm really tired of what's happening. They're not going to understand it, but everyone else does. So you can work with each other and talk to each other. You can work with each other to figure out who should be coming in and building these homes. Now, I understand that we want to keep it local, but in something so big like this, can the local people handle this? That's the question. I don't know, but I'm going to assume no, and they can't handle to do it right away. So how do you tackle it? Do you bring in 10 builders? Do you bring in, let's see, engineers, architects? Well, that's going to be going too far, isn't it? Because you guys can't do that. But you can work with the government to do this. You can work with organizations to do this. You can work with the Homes Approved Homes if you wanted to. We could do that too. This is not an opportunity for me to make money. This is an opportunity for me to explain to you it's time to step back, breathe, figure out what's going to happen for the next at least year before you get your houses back. It's just as simple as that. And how to do it right that everyone wins. Any questions? Come on, you can ask me anything. Can you hire me? I would love to. I don't have a life right now. That's because I'm busy trying to save the world. Yeah, she asked if she could hire me. I would love to, but what I can do is offer my services just like I promised to do and help you guys build smarter. That's easy for me to do. To just build your house. Man, I'm building Homes Approved Homes across Canada. Why do you think I'm doing that? What is a Homes Approved home? It means I found the best builders in the country. We approached them. They couldn't come to us. I showed them a package. Would you like to be a Homes Approved home builder? I know you're already good. That means my company documents your build for the buyer, for you, and for me. That means I'm safe because I've had my guys come in, take pictures during construction and document that everything was done to Tier 1, at least minimum code, Tier 2, my minimum code, Tier 3, which is an environmental build, which I'm really keen on. And this is now, what do we have, 49 Homes Approved Homes builders now moving into the United States. It's not like any other program you've heard of other people doing. It's literally a third party documenting a smarter and better build. And we're big on healthy homes. This doesn't mean that we can do this, but we can be part of it. We can help. That's what I can offer is all the people that I already know that are great builders, we can help. And actually they came in today. They want to help. So we do have things. What's your name?
Pollyanna.
Pollyanna. Hi, Pollyanna.
You have seen a lot of catastrophes across Canada and the United States. How long do you think it will take to rebuild the areas of waterways, Abbotsford, and Beacon Hill? And before you answer that, on behalf of First Nations, thank you.
My pleasure. My honest opinion on this is it's going to be at least a year. That's an opinion. Now, if it can be done quicker, wow, the only way it can be done quicker is if all the ducks were in a row. That means everyone worked as a team, you work with the government, nobody freaked out, nobody threatened anyone with lawsuits. As soon as you use the word, I want to sue you, that stops everything and everyone's got to hire lawyers. Don't use those words, they're not going to get you anywhere. So if the ducks are in a row, it could be sooner, but that is my honest guess. It's going to take that long. The cleanup alone is going to take a while because they got to test the land. They got to make sure it's not contaminated in any which way to allow you to get back to the land. If the areas that were in a flood zone and they change that, where else can they build for you? That's going to be another question and another lineup of ducks in a row. So this is really going to take all of you to have patience, and I promise you, if you work together, this will be the smoothest thing Fort McMurray has ever seen. If you don't, it's going to be scattered. Everyone's going to be in different angles and in different speeds. Don't do that. Everyone get together. That's what I'm trying, that's why I'm here, and I'm trying to encourage. Somebody else had their hand up.
Right. That's your name?
Hi, I'm Sandra.
Hi, Sandra.
First of all, the products that you were mentioning, is there, I know we can Google it, but if you don't know the names of these products?
Well, you can go to makeitright.ca.
Okay.
Like I believe in these products. That's why I talk about them. They're in my books. You don't have to buy the books. Just go to the website. And if you have questions, I mean, this guy here is running all of the Homes Approved Homes. The Homes Approved Homes builders are here. You can talk to them. You can talk to everyone. That's that. I'm trying to make it easy for everyone.
Now, this is the emotional question. Now that you have given your honest opinion on how long it was going to take, some of us had really good insurance. I happen to be one of those lucky people.
Good for you.
Unfortunately, that really good insurance has conditions to it. If my home is not rebuilt and complete in 12 months, then I don't meet those conditions.
Now, I think working together as a team, you can fight that, but don't fight that. They're going to want to bend because they're not going to want a bad name in the public. I talked to a lot of insurance people on the plane, at the airport. They're happy that they came in and covered everyone almost completely. There were some people who did not have home insurance. There were some people who thought they had home insurance for a fire but didn't get it. Now this is another story, and this is, I could talk about this forever too. If you own a house, you want to make sure you insure it right. You want to make sure you talk to the insurance company. And again, humans, we've got this terrible habit of smacking our head against the wall till it's blue, and this is how we learn. This is how we learn by mistake. And I get it and I understand it. I'm a creature of that habit too. And I mean, I'm trying to teach my kids, save your money, put your money on your mortgage, don't use your credit cards, it's 28%. Get a line of credit, you can do it for 3%. And you think they listen? I gotta bail them out too. They learn by mistake just like anyone else. So, I think they're going to be they're going to give leeway, I really do, because this is really going to now come down to how long is it going to take to clean it up. So right now, it's going to be at least another month, at least. Could be 3 months from now to clean it up. That's a big area to clean up. Right now, they're trying to get companies in to bid on it to clean it up. Then the other companies are going to have to come in, engineers, to document it and make sure the soil's good, the areas are clean, and no one can be sick from this. Because one thing the government doesn't want is you moving back to an area that is going to affect you and affect your health. This is not going to be good for Fort McMurray. So the more patience you have, and the more time that you spend talking with all the right people, the better. The more that you work together, the better. The more that you talk to your insurance company saying, here's where I'm at, we probably won't have a house done by 12 months, but we're going to be in progress. So hopefully it doesn't have to get into litigation after that, because that's a terrible thing to get into, because only the lawyers make money. And I'm in a world of lawyers, and believe me, I understand that. I don't like giving them all the money, but that's the world I live in, right? It's like I've got a lawyer coming out of my knees, out of my drawers. I got lawyers for everything. I didn't even know you can sue me if I talk about something on television. Put it this way, if I get on a ladder and I do something on TV and you copy what I do, did you know you could sue me if you fell off that ladder? Is that bull crap or what?
Don't tell them that.
However, if you do that, it means you're not a nice person, right? And I have E&O insurance, errors and omission, and more insurance, more lawyers. But it's the world I've stepped into. Why? I mean, all I'm trying to do is make it right. That's all I'm trying to do. From the beginning of Homes on Homes to today, I'm trying to make it right for the people of the frickin' country. That's what I'm trying to do. And do it right every time. Okay.
Mike Holmes, way back here. On the way. Okay.
Where? There you are. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Kinda. Thank you again for coming. Sorry, I'm not a public speaker.
That's okay.
So we have had our house, it's full of mold in the basement because the sub pump's backed up, including the sewer. So we've been without power for about 21 days. So the insurance is telling us that even though when we went in, and so we've had the environmental team come in, that the only thing they have to replace to get rid of the mold is the downstairs, but we can actually live upstairs.
Don't you dare do
But
that.
we're not going to.
They told you that?
Yeah.
Insurance companies are usually smarter than that. They don't tell you that. Okay. Don't do that, first of all, because the mold needs to be pulled out of the house. And soon as the rule of thumb here, folks, so you understand the bylaws, anything over 10 square feet requires a mold abatement company to remove it. Anything under 10 square feet, you can do yourself. You can actually buy a bottle of concrobium. This is a great product. It's a Homes Approved product. I'm not trying to sell it. I like it. You spray the mold, you wipe it down. If you're worried, you put a mask on and gloves. The truth is you're knocking the spores down right away. It's like using soap and water, and you clean it up. And the good thing about this product is it reduces the risk of mold regrowth. But as soon as you're over 10 square feet like your house, that's a different game. And much like asbestos, they got to close up the house, put up a contamination sign, and until there is an air test done, you're not allowed back in that house. So I don't know who said this to you, but they gave you the wrong advice. Now, so the insurance is going to cover the basement, is that what you're telling me? Just the basement. Is the mold grown anywhere else?
So the mold, as soon as you walk in, you smell it. There's only 2 levels, so the hardwood upstairs is already, you can see it forming.
Buckling, turning black.
Yes, and so they're saying that that's not directly part of it, and that doesn't have anything to do with the mold and the flooding downstairs.
Well, you know, maybe you should hire someone like me that can tell them it does. Because the moisture content in the home will come through to the floor and actually ruin the floor, and that floor should be replaced by insurance. Now, is this a great example? And after all this is done, that you learn the next time you deal with an insurance company, you find out exactly what you're insured for. Read the small print, understand it. I've been trying to work with the insurance companies of Canada for years now, and I mean, they're listening, but they're trying to say the same thing I am. They're trying to tell everyone out there, understand your insurance. You need to pay for higher insurance. There's too many people that want to pay less insurance. And you've seen the commercials on TV. We can give you a quote in 7 minutes. And I think it's like working out. You know, went from the 20-minute workout to the 15-minute workout to the 2-minute, yeah, and then you buy the gym because you only got to work 2 minutes. I'm exaggerating. The point is, understand your insurance. Right now, I would be hiring someone that's going to put together a package to present to your insurance company. That's what I would be doing. What's your name?
Hi, Mike. My name's Diana, and I own a real estate brokerage here in town. And while I was lucky enough to not have my house burned down, unfortunately, I do have clients who were not so lucky. You spoke about, you know, making sure that you don't hire somebody just as quickly as possible to come in and do the work. Unfortunately, in Fort McMurray, we do have a bit of a history with fly-by-night contract companies who, you know, they don't necessarily know what they're doing, or, you know, very often you probably see them, you know, the stereotype on your shows, where they come, they start a job, they leave, or whatever the case may be. I can imagine that we're going to have some more of this coming to the community as a result of what's going on. So do you have any advice for the homeowners out there who are looking for contractors as to what criteria they should be looking for when they're hiring a contractor? Should they be checking a certain number of references? What should they do?
Okay, great question. Yes, this is going to bring in everyone from everywhere, and it is going to upset the local contractors. There's no doubt about that. But this is about you guys. Now, again, the more you work together as a massive team, just like the government's bringing in bids on everyone that's going to do the cleanup, in a way you can do that on your own also. But I'm going to make this really simple. I have 3 rules when it comes to hiring anyone that's to do with construction. I don't care if they just do bathrooms, they just do trim, they are roofers, plumbers, I don't really care. If they're plumbers, they better be licensed, and you better ask for that. First rule is, once again, slow down. You cannot do a renovation like you can go through a drive-through to pick up a coffee. The more you slow down and plan your work, the better for you. This is going to take homework on everyone that wants something done, especially if it's a brand new home. Number 2, check out your contractor. Actually, number 2, educate yourself. You need to find out everything you can. What products you should be using. You know, what is the Duracell block? What is CertainTeed Air Renew? Should we thermal break it? What is a thermal break? The more you learn, the more you can talk to a contractor for number 3. Check out your contractor. Make sure the contractor and new home builder have at least 20 references. Is that a lot of references? I can give you 1,000. 20 references. If they can't hand you 20 references, show them where the door is. And then you got to pick up the phone. You got to call all 20 and say, were you happy with this guy? Did he start on time? Did he finish on time? Was he courteous? Was he clean? Did he charge you more money at the end of the job you didn't expect? And then get up off your butt and go look at the work the contractor did for someone else. Then you're probably ready to whether or not to hire that guy or not, okay?
Quick question, I have a question. Stand up or make eye contact with me so I can know who you are. So easier. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Sid. You were talking about building smart and using the newer materials. How would that affect the architectural controls set by the city or the municipality in regards to the rebuild? Like, is anyone going to be able to build however they want, with any style they want?
There's going to be some issues here. One, what I'm talking about, you can build anywhere, right? Because as long as you have an engineer put a stamp on it, the city's happy. So the product has stamps, the engineers, you have an engineer, you need an engineer to build a house anyways, to do structure after the architect designs it. Now, heritage is the only area you got to worry about. I can't see anything in Fort McMurray that they all got to have blue roofs. I'm being sarcastic. It just doesn't, or they got to be all white houses. I mean, I don't see that in Fort McMurray. And I think the government here is going to be very open to working with everyone here to help make it right. I don't see there can be problems. The only problems I see is when people lose it and get together as a huge organization and try and go after the government. Then you're going to have some really big problems, and I don't recommend that. The more you can work with everyone, the better everyone wins. Yes.
Hi, Mike. I spent the afternoon in Beacon Hill with Mike and his team. I also have a house standing in Beacon Hill. I just want to know when it would be safe to let our insurance companies that come in and clean those homes to get them ready to be moved back in. What would a homeowner be looking for in that aspect, as your advice would be today? The outside is not safe, but the inside could possibly not be safe as well.
Right now,
Just maybe make a light of some people that could be looking into that road of cleaning their home, getting it ready to be moved in, and it could be another 90 days before we even make a decision if we're even allowed to be moved into the residence.
well, right now, I mean, they're trying to tell everyone to stay out of the house, aren't they? But they're letting you go look at your house or go, you know, try and hug what was left or find something. And really, you shouldn't be going through it. You're supposed to wear a mask, and it should be pink filters if you actually step through that, because you don't know what's in there. And they're not going to let you in until they know it's safe enough. So that's the biggest wait you're going to have right now. And you're probably going to get that clearance 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and it could be 3 months. But there's nothing you can do about that. This is just as like they just quarantine an area and say you're not allowed in here until we say it's clean. Now, also, who's going to clean it up is the question. After they clean it up, who's going to pay for it? That's another question. Is that going to be every single individual family with their insurance, or is the government doing that? Now, clearly, it is your house, your insurance, it should be you guys, right? It really should be. So I can't say who's going to do that. What I can say is, this is going to take a little bit of time to figure that out, isn't it? unfortunately. Once it's clean, then those who didn't lose all their houses can get back. To those that did lose their houses, they got to be built, and it's going to take you guys a lot longer.
Good question over here, Mike. What's your name?
Chantal, thank you for coming. I really, you are an angel. My house is gone, but we were thinking about prefab home. What do you think about it? Because we want it beep, and done.
Now, there are pros and cons to everything we do. There's pros and cons to every material we use, unless you actually put together the smartest package. The pros and the cons to a prefab home. The pro, they can drop that house in one day, and it can be finished, well, we did it on Home Free in 7 days. However, it can be done in about a month, and that's actually a really good time period. What are the cons? It's still built with wood, so what I would try and do is say, okay, how can I get a fire rating on the outside of the house? One, I'm encouraging everyone to spend a few more dollars personally to put on a metal roof. Those who have a metal roof have more chances of this not happening again. Two, the outside cladding of the house. Stay away from vinyl siding. Wood siding still burns. What can you use on the outside of the house? You could do brick, that's a veneer, it's a cladding. Hardy plank is another pro and con. What? Cement board is a good start. And I mean, cement board, and look at, I'm not a big fan of Hardy, and they know it, and it's because I believe the product is failing. But you must maintain it for it to stay. But I'm not a big fan of this product. I mean, I'm okay with it if you have a 3/4 inch airspace breathable behind it. Cement board. I know a product is a spray cork. It's another Homes Approved product. That's product of the century. Right now, NASA's talking to them. Bombardier's talking to them. This is that spray cork I was talking about, 1/8 of an inch. It's a fire rating, Class B. It's a thermal break. It's a beautiful finish. Looks like stucco, but it's cork. And it's environmentally grown, so they control it. You can spray this right over the outside. Now you got a Class B fire rating, and hopefully you're going to spray it over, even though they've spread it over vinyl siding, and it actually gives it a Class B fire rating. I still don't recommend you use the vinyl. I recommend now you put up something better, and you could spray it with the cork. And I can easily set up people to be here, to spray at the outside of every single house. So if you wanted it, you got it. But this is the second part that I keep talking about, the educating yourself on what you need to know. So, pros and cons, yes, just make sure it doesn't burn, especially from the outside. Protect the inside.
I'm Mike Gamini, and I'm lucky enough to have my home standing in Addison, but everything around it is gone. So it's kind of like in a war zone.
So you're still in the contaminated area. You're still in the contaminated area.
So just wondering, it's always one thing after another. You know, I stay in my basement with my neighbor's power, so the sub pump's fine. But now they're thinking that the siding's not on, that there's mold going to get in through the black paper. Is that possible?
How old's your house?
2006 maybe.
And what black paper's on the outside of 2006? So they used the tar paper under the siding? They didn't use a watershed paper like you see with the Home Depot signs or the Rona signs, Tyvek or Typar? It's black.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody put up a tar paper is what it sounds like. Now, it shouldn't harm it, but I mean, you want to, of course you want to get it closed. Are you allowed to be at your house right now?
I have a fence around. We're not really allowed, but
That means you shouldn't be doing anything. Don't look at, you're only putting yourself at risk if you don't do it the right way, okay? So don't do things you shouldn't do. And I understand you want to get it protected to get it closed up again. And if you could get anyone to do, what I'd recommend is go buy some Tyvek and surround the outside of the house. Pull off that black paper and get them to staple up and leave it. Because it'll breathe. That's one wonderful thing about this product. And it won't allow water to come in. Use tuck tape on all the joints, staple it against the house, and you're protected. Do that and then wait. Okay?
all right.
Just don't mess with things you shouldn't mess with.
What was your name again?
Paulina.
Pollyanna, how could you forget that?
Michael, earlier you answered my question with a timeline being 12 months. Winter starts here rather quickly then.
Yeah, August? I'm kidding.
You'd be right, depending. There's not a lot of time to build prior to winter coming. Some people, like some friends that I know, including my friend who's lost his home where I lived and couldn't get insurance because of the age of the unit. Nobody wanted to insure him. And he was, aggressively seeking insurance prior to the fire and negotiating with, companies on who would insure him, and nobody would because of the age. Now he's left without anything, without insurance, and then has to rent and yet pay a mortgage. Like, people are financially constrained now that the fire has occurred. What is your advice for people who are in those predicaments? And with the weather coming.
There's going to be 80% of all the people that are in that position right now that didn't own their house. It's easier if you own it, but you still have a mortgage. You're paying a mortgage on a house that doesn't exist anymore. You can't sell it. You can't do anything with it. You're really caught in a trap. Now, okay, I'm telling you a year because it could take a year. Who knows how maybe we're going to see possibly some prefab home builders say, look, here's some options. We can help everyone now, and it can be done in 6 months. Now, that would be awesome. Providing we start working with smarter products on the outside of the house. That would be awesome. Yes, winter's going to be coming, and there's going to be probably a lot of people because you can't just start all the houses at once, right? This is going to be like a chain reaction. As they clean an area, they're going to start to build. They're going to keep cleaning, and then they continue, right? But before they can build, they need the permits. They need to do everything. This is going to be a little bit of work, which is why I say 12 months. If everything went well, it could be sooner. And odds are it's not going to be, but if it was, that would be freaking great. But if it takes a year, it takes a year. It's going to take what it takes, and there is nothing stopping that. And hopefully, we've got some people out there with some great ideas and some great methods and great options.
Question right here. What's your name?
Where are you?
Right here, right in front of you.
Oh, he was on his knees. I didn't see him.
I was a little worried when he got down on his knees on it.
So here's the good news. We're smiling.
Yes.
It was funny.
You're super cute.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I don't play for your team.
My pleasure.
I met you before, and it was just as thrilling as it is now. I am fortunate my house is standing. My heart goes out to all those who lost their homes or can't get back into their homes, so it's terrible. You talked earlier about organizing ourselves as a community. So there's twofold. How do we do that so that we have a committee, a group, or somebody who can be the voice for people to make sure that we're working together? And how do we bring in maybe provincial resources to support our community? Because we have overworked counselors who maybe don't have the skill set to help our community rebuild, and no digs to them because I don't know where to start either. But how do we do this quickly so that we can all work together?
You see this guy here?
Yeah.
This guy is solely responsible, honestly, for putting today together. And it takes guys like this, people like this, to get everyone together.
One thing I do have a suggestion. Beacon Hill, I think we need to form a community association. I think Abbotsford needs to as well. And waterways. And also, it's not just, I was looking at the stats of houses. Thickwood had serious losses, and Timberley had serious losses also, and also Stafford. We got to stop, even though I'm all about Beacon Hill. I'll show you my sign. But the truth is that as a community, we need to completely do something and act as a team. And then when we have all those different community associations, then the head of that or a couple people from each can work together to talk to guys like Mike or Carmelo, the local builders here, or Bryce from the insurance, and see what we can do unitedly to make this quicker and more efficient to save money and everything.
Yeah, think about that for a second. Imagine, let's just say, Beacon Hill, 400 homes were damaged, right?
Exactly.
Okay, 400 homes. So if Beacon Hill got together as a community and as a team and said to one, maybe two builders, don't you think the builders are going to want to work a little better for you guys? Don't you think that you can probably do it as a team price? If I went into Home Depot, and don't ask me why I say Home Depot. If I went into Home Depot, it's a store, and I wanted to order 100 lights for 100 houses, I'd say I want 10% off. And they'll give it to me because I'm ordering 100 lights. You order 2 lights, you don't get 10% off, right? Can you do that? No. Can you work with the builder and they'll give you a better deal because they're building 200 homes and 200 homes? The answer is yes. As a team.
What's your name?
We're the Ryan family. Our house is standing, but we've had extensive mold damage as somebody else had. Their insurance company is saying they're going to rip out, the first floor is already ripped out. They're waiting for the basement, they're waiting for test results to move forward, upward to know how far to go. They've already removed the contents from the upper 2 levels. But our question is, should they be waiting to, once they rip everything out, how long should there be before they start putting it back together before we know if it's safer?
Okay, great question. First of all, the bylaw says you're not allowed back in the house until you've got a green light that the air is clean. There's no mold spores in the air. Just a quick, there's the second part to this. We breathe approximately 18,000 spore counts of mold in 1 cubic meter of airspace every day outside. Did you know that? Did you know that? Our bodies are used to that. What we're trying not to do is to have more inside the house, which is more of the contaminants, 80% of the homes across the country. The part 2 to this is moisture. A moisture meter. You can go buy one at the depot, at the store. You should not close up anything if it's over 17% moisture content, period. Every contractor knows this, and whether or not they do it is another story. Do you actually see them walk around with a moisture meter? Do not close in your house. Put it up against the concrete foundation, if you have one, I hope you do. Put it up against the wood. Check everywhere it was wet. If it is above 17%, don't finish it, okay? Let it dry out. You can dry it out with dryers. All right, I'm gonna do a couple more questions, and then I've got to jump on a plane and one more here.
Hi, Mike, I'm Tina.
Hi, Tina.
I was fortunately not to lose my home. However, 2 people in my family did lose their homes. And one of them, unfortunately, did not have insurance due to the old knob and the tube wiring, and their insurance company would not insure it until they were in the process of rewiring their home, but not had yet got there. And so they lost everything, and now they're sitting and waiting and don't know what to do. Do you have any advice?
Whoa, man. My heart goes out to everyone that's in that situation. They were trying to resolve a problem to get insurance, and in the middle of all of that the house burns down, which means they're not insured. There is no 1-800-HELP. Unless everyone got together and gave $1,000 each, there is no way they're out of luck.
They're financially okay.
Okay, that's a good thing if they're financially okay.
They're so lost.
This is so wrong. And right now, if people get together, now one thing I love about being Canadian is, man, Canadians stand up for each other. I tell you, we were the first to be in New Orleans. We're the first ones to pull out of our pocket and say, here, we want to help. And I sure do hope that is still happening for Fort McMurray. I do. But at this point, I don't know what to say about that. They've lost their home. Hopefully they owned it, but at the same time, they lost it. You can own nothing. It's done now. Well, they own the land.
I got a question right here. What was your name?
I'm sorry.
Sandra. Unlike in most parts of Canada, when you purchase a home here in Fort McMurray, you do not have it resurveyed as the title changes. So would you suggest that now that all these homes are gone, that we should have our parcel of land actually surveyed?
Okay, once it's surveyed, that gets into the records of the building department, right? So they have that. That's why you don't have to keep doing it, because when you buy the house or sell the house, the survey goes with the house. Now, the only reason you would want to survey it again is if you forgot where your property line was, or you got into an argument with your neighbor that those shrubs are mine. Hopefully that doesn't happen. So you can pay at any time to get it surveyed, so you know, but nobody else is going to pay for that. That will come out of your pocket.
Because like there's not even any pins. It's basically like where the foundation ended, 10 feet over from there is where your land is finished.
My guess is anything that's really devastated, such as 100 houses in one area, that's going to have to be surveyed, and it's going to be part of the insurance. It's going to happen. Someone's going to pay the piper. Nothing's going to be done for free. That's unfortunate.
I have a question here. What was your name?
It's Norm.
Hi, Norm.
I'm just wondering about the homes that have not been, like the people in Beacon Hill and Appleton that may be going back to their homes that haven't been lived in for so long. What are they going to be looking for when they go in, like structurally? Like I remember my grandparents' home when they passed away. Within a year, it fell in on itself.
Well, these houses should not fall in. They've been there for years. There shouldn't be an issue. If the windows are closed tight and it hasn't breathed for a while, there's a possibility of some surface mold. That's possible. Odds are they're okay. So honestly, odds are they're okay. But until you get the green light, they can't go in there. If it doesn't look like it's been burned, odds are they're okay.
Also, what do you suggest? Because I'm one of those 80% that live in an older home. What's a small step I can do to better the quality of the air in my home?
Well, the first thing you can do, and the cheapest thing you can do, is buy a standalone HEPA filter air cleaner, because that will clean. It says 99.99% of the contaminants that are in the air. It will. And change the filter as much as possible and or clean it. That's the first thing you do, because we can't see what's in the air. But I'll tell you right now, you'd fall over if I actually did an air test in this room right now and showed you what was in the air. You'd fall over. Once we know these things, we start to pay attention to them because we're learning. And if you know your house is old and you know there's possibility of asbestos and or lead in the paint, I mean, that's an issue in itself. Never mind does it breathe properly. You ever notice the difference? Okay, and I mean, there's pros and cons to everything. I'm going to do this quickly. A very old home, it's 100 years old. Odds are it's got asbestos, right? Whether it's in the tile, the adhesive that holds the tile, vermiculite in the attic, or a 50-50 chance that there's asbestos in the plaster, which you don't want. That's a really bad thing, because that's just a class 1. That's a contamination. It means you just don't touch it, right? But once you know it, you got to transfer it. You can't lie to anyone anymore. But that house never molded. Never molded. And a brand new house, because I can fix nothing but brand new houses, makes me sick. It really does. I can film day in, day out brand new houses. Why do you think these houses mold? Why do you think the old houses didn't? Well, vapor berry is what he said. Yes and no, and hold on one sec. An older home, there's many reasons it did not mold. And that's one, because we had so much air leakage within the body of the home that we had fresh air transfer consistently. In other words, it was pulling air from outside through the house, up through the roof. It's called stack effect. And it's cleaning the air inside the home. 2, the old home was built with heartwood, not sapwood. When I say heartwood, it's heartwood. Old big trees. It's like cedar. It's like teak. It naturally resists mold, naturally resists bugs, naturally resists moisture. That's why those houses, until we take an old house and then we renovate it, and now the vapor barrier, start trying to, that whole goal was to try and make a more energy efficient home. The problem is we stopped all the air leakage, which is what we're trying to do, and we held it airtight. And when you hold it airtight, you end up with more problems, pros and cons. And we can actually build smarter than that. And I keep saying it, and that's why I keep doing what I'm doing. Stop looking at what we're doing, and step outside of that box going, that's not working. Because right now there's mold companies right across Canada, United States that are getting rich from our stupidity, right? That's what's happening. We can build smarter than this, and I'm doing it on the show.
Question right here, what was your name?
Deb?
Hi, Bev.
Mike, I live in the neighborhood where the Dickensfield explosion took place 2 weeks after the fire. And my house is completely devastated.
You said it blew up, right?
Well, my next door neighbor's house blew up and mine blew up from the inside. My house is obviously structurally unsound, there's no question about it. But in my neighborhood, many of the houses, I would say at least a dozen or more, are also affected. And some of them have not hired structural engineers, but carpenters and such like that. And maybe they need more just to make sure their homes are safe and sound.
Well, any time that you've had explosions in the area and it's affected structures of other homes, you need engineers. No one's going to let anyone do anything without an engineer's stamp. I always say to the next generation, become an engineer. These guys make big money. But you know what? For a valid reason, as soon as they put their stamp on it, they're responsible. So that's why the guidelines are so heavy for the engineers, because they're responsible. So you can't do nothing without an engineer. It's like if you've got any structural issues, you need an engineer. Now, was it burned in the area at all, or was this from an explosion?
From the explosion.
Okay, yours is easier to fix, believe it or not. Yours is much easier to fix. You're gonna need an engineer, a builder, hopefully a good one, and you check them out with the 1, 2, 3 rule, and you can make it right. That's easy.
Was that from when they turned the gas back on?
It was my house.
So what happened was her house survived the fire when they were testing the gas lines, because they shut all the gas off in the community, they turned the gas on and there was an explosion. So that's some of the background. What was your name?
I'm from Dickinsfield as well, and we have significant structure damage to the front of our house. The engineer has come once, and they've kind of walked around, we're waiting for the report, but he's basically kind of given them an outline of how to fix it, but they haven't looked at the roof. They knew that there was debris burning on the roof. They haven't looked at that. They don't, it just doesn't seem, it's basically like he's giving them a report and just fix it and everything will be fine. But the house is still shifting and moving, and we're seeing more and more cracks.
Okay, first question to you is, where'd the engineer come from?
Toronto.
Okay, who called him in?
My adjuster.
Your adjuster. Your insurance adjuster called in the...
Because you can see that our walls moved 2 inches in one spot.
Did you ask if you can get your own engineer?
No.
Okay, this part about the education I keep talking about is knowing what you can and cannot do, especially when it comes to insurance. Wouldn't you want your own engineer to work for you and not they call someone in to work for everyone, because you end up being left at the end of the street, right? Look to see if you can get your own engineer. And for peace of mind, sometimes it works to hire your own engineer and say, I don't need yours, okay? I'm not telling you to do it. I'm giving you options.
He seemed pretty thorough, and he was leaning more towards someone should be back to check this work as they're going through it. And he was telling the adjuster, like, when you open the roof, you gotta check to see if the rafters have moved, because our fascia's down, everything is moved. But nobody's gone in there. And then we mistakenly got a quote that's very large.
By who?
The contractor that we've been talking to. And
Is this through the insurance company?
Yeah. And she hasn't sent it to us, but we actually brought in some documents for you to look at if you have a minute.
Do you know how many people want to talk to me? Okay, here's my advice to you. Talk to the insurance company and tell them, I want to hire my own insurance, I want to hire my own contractors. I don't want yours. You can tell them, let me make my mistakes. I don't need you to make mistakes for me. And hopefully they're going to let you. In most cases, the insurance company will. They're going to try to do it themselves because, believe me, insurance companies have a lineup of guys that don't charge them so much because it's consistent work. Find your own guys and tell them that's what you want.
They agreed to sign on to be full-time in town for the next 3 years.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. I do. See if you can get your own.
We have time for probably 2 more questions.
Okay. Your name?
Suzanne.
Hi, Suzanne.
Thank you for coming. I'm very hopeful and optimistic that we can rebuild in the timelines that you've suggested, and I think that's best for the community, provided that, of course, the proper testing is done and it's safe to do so. My concern is with planning and development in the municipality. Historically, it's been difficult to get permits in a timely fashion here, sometimes months to get your development and build a permit. And that's concerning considering we have at least 2,400 structures that need to be rebuilt in a timely fashion. So I'm wondering whether you have any recommendations perhaps to the municipality based on your experience in other municipalities and other provinces and states in North America.
I do.
What recommendations you could make to assist them in making this a more efficient process?
Okay, the more we all hire separate contractors, the more permit process, the more time it's going to take. If each area, as Beacon Hill at 400 houses, works with a big builder, that builder can come in and get all the permits necessary to do all the homes. And as working together as a team, you can say, we want metal roofs, we're willing to pay that extra. We want a fire-rated product on the outside of the house. Do we want prefabbed homes? They will be faster. And you have an opportunity to really do this differently. But as a team, on your own, it's going to take longer. I can't tell you that enough. It's just going to. But as a team, you're going to find a builder that wants to build 400 houses. You're going to find a relationship of that builder to work with, right? Prefabbed homes. You're going to find more relationships, and this is going to be a better relationship, and the government's going to get the permits up easier, and they're going to, one, they're still going to want to work with everyone here. They're not going to want to look like the bad guys, but this is the way I'm recommending it, that you get together as areas and do it as a team. It's funny, the one show, who saw me do 52 fences on one of the shows? Okay, so a whole neighborhood gets together and calls me in and begs my help. And 52, that was more than a mile of fencing, and I've got, you know, as I'm doing it, and I'm paying for it, as I'm doing it, I've got the people going, can I get my fence taller? Can you put my gate here? I'm saying, look it guys, what did I tell you at the beginning? I'm going to do it the right way. I'm not going to do it the way you want it. You can only have a fence that's 6'3" is the bylaw. You can't be 7 feet. Here's the most ironic part of this. They got together to get me. At the end of it, we threw a big party. They loved each other, but they all wanted a 7-foot fence, so afterwards they didn't have to talk to each other. Is that right? Hopefully you gain more friends from this and you work together, guys, because that's what's going to be necessary here. Trust me. And I usually don't use those words.
I've got 2 questions, well, 1 point and a question real quick.
Hi, Mike. I'm a local builder here in Fort Mac, and I love hearing you say, let's use metal roofs. But what you forgot about is we have architecture controls with bylaws where you say don't use vinyl siding. But my building's friends, brick don't come in green. It don't come in other colors. That's why you go around Fort Mac, you see the whole entire subdivision with gray roofs, because city says that's what you have to have.
Well, we can have gray metal.
You're right, but metal is actually prohibited here in Fort Mac for roofing.
I think that's going to change.
Oh, I imagine a lot's going to change from here on out. But
Are you really telling me it's prohibited here when I see it on other buildings?
In Fort Mac, I built a lot of new subdivisions, and architecture controls don't allow you to have a metal roof.
That's not logical to me.
It isn't.
Why is it only Fort Mac and not the rest of the country?
Well, Fort Mac has a building subdivision rules, and what I haven't seen in a lot of different parts of the country. I'm actually originally from Cornwall, Ontario.
Okay.
Where we don't have that. I've been up in your neck of the woods in Toronto.
I know Cornwall.
Yeah, so yeah, I've seen you in Cornwall speak a couple times, and things are different here, and I feel that for a lot of people. And the code.
I believe that the government's going to be more open now to a metal roof, because if they realize that they can save a lot of houses from burning in a future fire, they're going to listen. Secondary, there is nothing in code that states it has to be a vinyl siding. Are you telling me that's also here too?
Well, there's a color.
Color we can get anywhere.
Yeah, in Hardy and stuff like that. I know you don't approve of, but vinyl's been the easiest here in Fort Mac to put up a lot of houses.
It's supposed to be an affordable build. It's the cheapest way to clad your home,
That's
right?
So a lot of people would just have the bare minimum amount of insurance to put back some of these houses. So they'll end up using the basic materials. So it's like you're gonna see houses get put back.
Which is one of the reasons why I'm here. I'm trying to explain to people we need to think better. We need to build better. The government's going to be listening. Everything you're talking about is minimum code. The only difference is there may be a color bylaw in the neighborhood, correct?
That's right.
Okay, so color bylaws, I'm sure they can work with. I'm sure people can work with, and it's probably not, is it all of Fort McMurray? It did make sense to me.
The subdivisions do have them codes, but to the
Usually in heritage.
up in Parsons North, Eagle Ridge, everybody has certain subdivision rules. But in the same note, everybody can't afford this material, what you're saying to go with.
Actually, I can build this house for the same cost you can build a house. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't have to 2x4 stud it. I don't have to insulate it. I would use conduit with electrical, which eliminates the EMF's electrical magnetic field. Like, there's things I know that a lot of people don't. And it's not that I know more than anyone. It's that I know enough that I can help share that information. And we can build these houses cheaper. I'm telling you, this is what I do.
But at the same note, Mike, I don't have US contacts. I'm pulling all my numbers.
It's not US, it's Canadian.
Well, I heard you're gonna be using a lot of US stuff.
No, I said it was filming in the US. It's
No,
not, there's a product from the States that they can bring here tomorrow.
So where's your foundation material coming from?
The product is made in Toronto.
Okay, because I was informed and different.
Duracell block, I want you to look it up, okay? Duracell, think of the battery. It's Duracell, not Duracell.
Okay.
One
It's also
question.
legal to have a clothesline in Fort McMurray.
A what? A what?
A clothesline is illegal. I just got one last question.
Really?
Check it out, we don't have a clothesline.
Can we put them up so no one can hang themselves? You know why? I don't want to get it. That's nitty gritty crap.
Thanks again for coming. My first question was about like how we can work together. Thank you for details on that in meetings. Another thing, we're from Beacon Hill. Our house is still there, amazingly. I tend to trust a lot of people, like families won't be professionals. Now that I have a family and children, how can I...
You are Canadian.
Yeah, true enough. How can I make sure that the house is safe? So like, what kind of tests can I do? Like, can I do an air quality test?
First thing you do is an air quality test. First thing you do, Pynchon's the company. I'm gonna assume they're up here too. Pynchon's not up here? Okay, someone up here does air tests. So do an air test. They'll give you a quick sample. They can probably do it within a week and tell you what's the contaminants that are in the home and give you at least, you know, a peace of mind. Get a HEPA filter, clean the air. It's not going to hurt for everyone to do this until everything has been cleaned up, okay? Just so you know that. Anything else, go to makeitright.ca. I'll help you in any which way I can. And I got to tell you guys, I'm here for a reason. I'm here for you. I'm sorry this has happened, but all I can say is let's do it right this time, okay? Love you, man. Thank you.